Hi, Assalamualaikum to Madam and my fellow friend. My name is NURUL UMAIRAH binti Muhammad ROSOL, A19A0720. Now, I would like to present to you about India. What's India country? India country that occupies the greater part of South Asia. Its capital is New Delhi, built in 20th century, just south of the historic hub of Old Delhi to serve as India administration center. The population now in India is 1,330 to 7,000 people. Distribution of main worker by different industry category in India is agriculture and allied activities, mining and quarry, manufacturing, electricity, gas and water, and the other. India is the world's largest manufacturing of generic drug, and its pharmaceutical sector full plus over 50% of the global demand vaccine. Now, India facing problems since COVID-19 pandemic. India recorded the largest case in world of COVID-19. Until now, India recorded 28.2 million case positive COVID-19 and 332k deaths case causes COVID-19. Although India is the large country producing fixed vaccine, India is unable to overcome the COVID-19 problem due to the attitude of the community and government that it is easy to record the higher COVID-19 case in the world. In Delhi, India political capital, the streets are mostly empty and the market nearly deserted with almost all shops closed in response to curbs put in place by the local administration to fight the pandemic. The scene is not so different in Mumbai, that financial hub that accounts for 6% of the national output. The Reserve Bank of India almost retained the growth estimate for the current fiscal year. Inefficient, impact greater uncertainty, and could delay economic activity from returning to normality. Okay, I pass this presentation to next presenter. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Amir Hafiz bin ROSLI. Now, I would like to talk about the effect of pandemic COVID-19 on economic activity in India. Economic activity in India has seen a slowdown in recent weeks as the world has been hit by the risk of COVID-19. Economic activity in India is no longer running as usual. The economic sector in India was shut down immediately when the COVID-19 disease outbreak hit. Manufacturing activity were unable to operate when the COVID-19 disease outbreak spread within their country. Factories in India were forced to close completely due to a sharp increase in case. Import and export rate also cannot be actively not only in India but all over the world. This is because there are restrictions from foreign party and the Indian government itself. Business activity have not been able to be carried out lately. The Indian community is very like to doing business activity. For example, business activity, the Indian community doing business on the beside of the road. Business activity in India, there are various types of business such as selling fruit, selling water, and selling food. Thank you very much.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is SYAHIRAH binti MAZLAN. My matric number is A19A0623. My part is impact of COVID-19 to the economic growth. Among the impact of COVID-19 on India economic growth was several economic downturn with the relative higher growth rate of between 4% to 8% and it's a large size. It has a hard impact of the world economy. The IMF have lowered a 2020 forecast to 5.8% in part because it expects more of the same from the subcontinent. When this happened, of course, it severely affected the economy and population of India itself due to the fall of the factor of economic production. Next is international restriction. If the country border gate are open, it will have an ever worse effect for airline, airport and businesses that depend on them, so this will also have a hard impact on global economic growth. Next is the pharmaceutical problem. The pharmaceutical industry in India is the third largest in the world in terms of volume and the 11th largest in terms of value. It has the effect that if India is unable to provide a supply of vaccine to the rest of the world, an increased need for social exclusion action and significant decline in economic activity.
My name is AMIRAH binti JUNAIDY and my matric number is A19A0519. Next, I will present about my part, which is the title is Impact of COVID-19 to the Unemployment in India. Next, in my research in India, there are two types of unemployment. There is a cyclical and seasonal unemployment. As we know, unemployment in India is a very high due to several factors. This causes people to have less income for subsistence. Cyclical unemployment, for example, therefore because coronavirus is a plague, the world country, one of them is India. As we know, before the issue of coronavirus 19, India also has a high unemployment rate. However, when the coronavirus 19 problem occurred, it caused unemployment in India to rise. Next, seasonal unemployment is also the unemployment found in India. For example, hospitality, agriculture, tourism, and others. This is due to the spread of coronavirus 19, which is able to reduce many companies taking a lot of profit. Not only that, but every company should limit the type of sale and hire of employment because the profit are not so much that they can't afford to pay the salary of the employees. Discussing the occurrence of unemployment in the Indian state. Based on this graph, unemployment rate in India in 2019-2020 as compared to 2021 on 2020 is shown as increase over 2019 of 6.50% in 2020. This record is up from a high of 6.50% in 2020 and a record low of 5.27% in 2019. On 2021, the percentage will increase to 6.90% due to the daily increase in coronavirus, so that the date also increase. However, the spread of the epidemic is now the fastest in the world. The number of active cases in India is tens of millions of people. Daily cases double from 8% to 60.7%. The above percentage indicate the occurrence cyclical unemployment. This is due to the deteriorating economic situation due to the spread of coronavirus 19. Causes business to lose part of their income and unable to pay salaries to employees. This causes employers to have the reduced hiring to avoid losses. And that's all for me. Thank you very much.
Hi, my name is Muhammad SYABIL IZZAT bin Muhammad SAKRI and my metric card number is A19A0314. So I will explain about the effect of the COVID-19 for the economy in India. Trade activities such as export and import have been impacted as a result of COVID-19 pandemic. This due to the government closure of international border, which is prevent any exit or entry activity from foreign country. And in terms of raw material source or product produce, this closure had impact particularly on the supply chain, demand and supply of goods. India is one of the largest spice exporters. As a result, India cannot supply their goods to the other country. The next effect for the India economy is the decline in tourism sector. As we all know, India have one of the 7 wonders of the world, which is Taj Mahal. To prevent the spread of this epidemic, India have to cancel all reservations that already been made from tourists that have high infection rate. Next, the effect is for the transportation and logistics. Because the international border and entry restriction, most of the roads are closed, including air and water. This made all the other countries have to cancel all the reservation and flight ticket. To decrease the passenger number max, the travel agency may face a bankruptcy. That's all from me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum and hi to madam. My name is ADILAH binti ROSLAN A19A0050. So for my part, I will be explaining about the impact of COVID-19 to the economic sector in India. So as we can see that the ongoing crisis around COVID-19 pandemic has been in fact the most economic activity that across the globe that include in India. So as we know that economic sectors is important to the most country, but due to COVID-19 we can see that some of the sector economy has been failed and some have been grow. So in this graph we can see that agriculture, tourism and hospitality, oil and gas has been slowed down and dropped in the first year 2020 compared to the first year in 2019. It is because of the lockdown and MCO that has many countries have done. So the effect is India can be export their product, especially in the agriculture and oil and the gas to the others country. Because of the closed border, so the demand of the sector will be increased. For the tourist and hospitality also, we can see that they will be drop and slow down in the first year 2020 compared to the first year 2019. It is because many of the tourists has cancelled their holiday. So the effect not just for the tourists and hospitality, but also will be effect to the workers that has been work in this sector. They will be lost their job and they will be unemployment. Next is for the pharmaceutical sector, we can see that India has been rise since start of the COVID-19. So it means that in the first year 2020 compared to the first year 2019, it will be increased. It is because India is the famous and technological in the pharmaceutical sector and be the large producers of the generic drug global. So I think that's all from me. Thank you.
Hi and Assalamualaikum. My name is AFIQAH binti ABDULLAH. My matric number is A19A0958. I want to present my part, which is economic policy implementation. During COVID-19 in India, economic policy implementation deal on fiscal policy and monetary policy. For the fiscal policy, to sustain the recovery for large shift are need and a closer look against each this, we need fiscal support. First, while demand for goods is back to healthy level, demand for service is still 30% below normal and needs to catch up. Successful rollout of the government vaccination drive will be necessary for this important shift to take place. Besides, large firm and high earners have fared much better than small companies through enterprise that made up 85% of the labor force, and was help will be instrumental for a sustainable recovery. A continuation of a social welfare spending, particularly to support those at the bottom of the pyramid, will be important. For the monetary policy, economic policy implementation on monetary policy, RBI continue with accommodative monetary policy stand and wait for a time to announce monetary action with a view to ensure the best outcome in terms of pushing growth without sacrificing the main objective of continued inflation. They has provide relief to both borrowers and lenders, and the Security and Action Board of India norms related debt default on rate instrument and reduce the required average market capitalization of public shareholding and minimum period of listing. Okay, that's all for me. Thank you.
Now, I would like to present to you about conclusion. How India country facing this pandemic COVID-19. In the face of the unprecedented pandemic, the Vaccine Alliance will support country to adapt and restart immunization, service, rebuild community trust and catch up those who have been missed both and before during the pandemic. 1. Almost investing in streaming immunization system to be more resilient and responsive to the community they serve. After that, well the nation as the immunists more of their population are finding room to open up. But the country where vaccination has been slow of minimal face grimmer prospects. Government of India is taking all necessary steps to ensure that we are prepared well to face the challenge and threats posed by the growing pandemic of COVID-19, the coronavirus. The most important factor is preventing the spread of the virus locally is to empower the citizen with the right information and taking precaution as per the advisories being issued by Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. How countries around the world are helping India fight COVID-19? From New York, India get from 328 oxygen concentrators and ventilators, and India get raw material used in vaccine production. I think that's all about the effect of pandemic COVID-19 on the economy in India. Stay safe, stay home, and Assalamualaikum. Bye.